Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Raw review, the final Raw before SummerSlam. And, once again, it's like, there's build up to SummerSlam, but where were these exciting moments? I mean, we have to talk about this. When you think of big pay per views, you think of big Raws, you think of big moments, you think of, memorable Raws. I mean, they're firing up to, put on the second biggest show of the year. This is going to be a 4 hour pay per view. And I don't even remember where they even talked about it being 4 hours again, but it's going to be 4 hours. It's been 4 hours for the last 2 years or so. And, it's this card I'm looking at. It's not even like it's that interesting of a card. You've got one big match, and you've got a bunch of others that really are kind of disinteresting. There's nothing very interesting about this card at all. You've got one good main event with three great wrestlers and one fat boy thrown into the mix. But you look at this build up, and it's almost like they don't care. That's what always is hilarious. Like, if you think that they build up poorly for WrestleMania, what's going to make somebody think they're going to build up even better for SummerSlam? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like they really don't even fucking give a shit about their own fucking shows. You know, Send Paul Heyman out there to tell everybody to subscribe to the network. We're at a moment here where pretty much everyone who's watching the show is pretty much subscribed to the network anyway. You don't have any outsiders really. Of course, like the people watching the show is us, the internet. This is the only people that is left watching the show are all the people who have already been watching for years and don't plan on stopping watching anytime soon. It's all the super fans, the YWC, the IWC, the message board marks. That those are the people watching the show. So we start off, and we got the payoff to the homosexual relationship between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. So at first they're arguing, then they brawl a little bit, which is an idea that once again, WWE sometimes you hear listens to Vince Russo. Obviously they're listening to Russo because this is not the first time they've listened to him where he said they should beat the shit out of each other. It wasn't good enough. It was just rolling around on the mat like a cat fight, which furthers my argument that these are two faggy guys that are just deeply in love with each other. It's like a lover's spat. So they beat up on Cesaro and Sheamus, and then they do the pound in the middle of the ring, the Shield pound, and they're back together. And I don't feel excited, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, Brad, you're just trolling and everything." Seriously, I don't care. Everybody makes like the Shield was this huge, massive thing. I've been talking about this for weeks. They make like the Shield was this big, amazing thing that nobody could touch, and it was like one of the best factions ever. Let's just be honest. It was something that was a little bit better than what you normally get in WWE. It wasn't like it was anything amazing. It was a shitty time in WWE where something half decent came along. You had a couple of good moments with the Shield, some memorable beatdowns and putting people through tables with a triple power bomb. That time they descended from the helicopter. I mean, or made the entrance in the helicopter, whatever the fuck it was. Those are the moments I remember with the Shield. They had a couple of good matches with Evolution and the Wyatts. Of course, those feuds could have been handled way better and could have came way earlier to get them over even more. But of course, WWE doesn't get it right. But if you ask the average mark about the Shield, they will tell you that this was one of the best things that WWE ever came up with. quickly forgetting about D-Generation X, quickly forgetting about the NWO, forgetting about the Nation of Domination. You know, let's be honest, there was way better factions in WWE than the Shield, way better factions in other promotions than the Shield. But many people will tell you that the Shield was one of the best. And, you know, I'm getting sick and tired of it. And it's not the first time we've had, Shield members reuniting. You know, we've seen it time and time again already where they teased it during certain matches. And I've quite frankly had enough of it. The Shield. I'm really sick and tired of hearing about them already. I don't want to see this ever again. I'm sick of seeing Ambrose and Rollins wrestle each other, cut promos on each other. I'm sick of them teaming up together. It's enough is enough already with these guys. Move the fuck on. Both of you guys have been world champions. It's time to go to WWE management. If you are truly as over as WWE makes you out to be, if you're that great of assets that they contribute so much TV time, and this is one of the few times when you actually see these guys in multiple segments, it's like these guys. Okay, so now it's time to move on already. You guys have already won almost all the belts there are to win. I mean, these guys have won the mid-card belts. They've won the world championships. They've won tag titles and stuff. And so, well, I don't know. I don't think Ambrose won a tag title, but whatever the fuck it was, enough is enough already. Get these guys back on track. They're supposed to be main eventers, and now they're back in the tag team scene. It honestly doesn't make any sense to me. Why were these guys downgraded? Why were these guys, now considered to be just mid-card wrestlers? They've done everything they could do. Why are they going backwards? They haven't even given us any time to miss the Shield, for God's sakes, because they keep having these little reunions during Royal Rumbles and other multi-man matches. So, like I said, enough is a fucking enough already with the goddamn fucking Shield reunions. So they're going to obviously tag together at SummerSlam. I don't even know if the match was officially announced. Sasha Banks defeated Nia Jax. You have got to be fucking kidding me. Again, how is this massive woman being beat by this little tiny girl? And like I said, there was a time when I thought Sasha Banks was great, but those days are long fucking gone, motherfuckers. I am done with Sasha Banks. She has not done anything with her character to get past where she was, where she came back into the WWE. It's the sunglasses. It's the knuckle dusters. And that's it. That's all she has to her. Besides that fucking huge, massive gap in her teeth, there's really nothing else to say about fucking Sasha Banks. There's nothing that they're doing with her to make her interesting. And what is this? Like, she's having such a problem with Sasha. Like, I found the ending of the match to be quite annoying. She kept on, like, doing stuff to Nia, and she kept getting up, and she kept putting her back in the bank statement. I mean, holy fucking shit, after Nia Jax dropped on top of her, that should have been it. She shouldn't have had any fucking power to get her leg on the bottom rope. I mean, that's ridiculous. She's huge. She should crush this girl. She outweighs her by like 200 fucking pounds. I mean, it's getting to be nonsensical already with the way how they book these matches. And Nia Jax is so dominant. How come she hasn't been rewarded the championship already? And I knew where it was going because I always bring this match up. You had what the fuck was that girl's name? Ahsoka. Who's the one in NXT with the belt? So you had that girl Ahsoka, or Asuka. That's her fucking name, Asuka. Always having that weirdly spelt name. Where you don't pronounce like the U's or anything. Fucking weird ass names. But anyway, the thing is, she got crushed by Nia Jax with a massive leg drop. You know how much one of those thighs probably weighs? That's probably like 50 pounds alone. Imagine getting a 50-pound dumbbell dropped on your head. That would be the equivalent of Nia Jax dropping her leg on your fucking head. So she drops her leg on Nia, on Asuka rather, but it was basically the same thing as the Samoan drop. Her whole body dropped on her. You know, her chest should be fucking caved in. If wrestling is supposed to be realistic and these moves matter as much as they're supposed to be, well, she should be crushed. But Asuka kicked out of that move, I remember. And then, like 2 seconds later, was going back on normal offense, not even selling like she had a concussion or something. And I even said in my review, and that's where you could see where I had enough of NXT at that point. I believe it was the same show. I think it was the same show where I got flamed on here for not giving the Naka Murphy and bitch boy cab driver Sami Zayn a 5-star rating. Probably 5 stars wouldn't have been enough. It was a 6-star rating. And I remember the same thing being said about this Nia Jax Asuka match. She should have been fucking crushed, and she's coming back, doing her normal offense. And I was like, you have to be fucking kidding me. This girl should be fucking crushed, but she's fighting to the best of her ability, even though she got crushed with a giant fucking leg. It's the same deal here. So, instead of having an interesting match, here we go again with Sasha Banks. I mean, for fuck's sakes. It's like you would think that these are the only 2 girls in the division. Don't do anything. I'm going to get to in a second. Enough with this already. Elias or just Elias now. What happened to Samson? I guess it wasn't, necessary. What is with McMahon taking away fucking names from people? Antonio Cesaro is Cesaro. Big E Langston is Big E. I guess the change is all right. Like, who fucking cares anyway? So R-Truth comes to the ring. Like, he's back to rapping and shit. Whatever. Like the fact that he's coming to the ring now. He's been in this company for 8 years. Coming to the ring with the same fucking rap. Remember where they even acknowledged in 2011 that the rap was getting annoying? And now they just bring it back, the same song, like not even giving him a different song, the same thing. After having this feud with Goldust, you think maybe his character would change. Nope. Going back right to the same thing again. Not even trying to alter anything about his character. Just doing the same exact bullshit. It's what WWE does best. Repeat themselves like a broken fucking record time and time again. This company won't change. They won't do a single fucking thing differently. They always have to do the same fucking thing time and time again. They're never going to fucking change, and they're always going to do the same fucking things. If it ain't, actually, if it's broke, don't fix it. Just let it break some more, basically. That's WWE's policy. If it's broke, don't fix it. Just keep, leaving it broken, Basically, that's it. So Samson just beats him up before the match. Once again, we don't have a match for whatever reason. That's it. Forget about the match. We're not having it. We don't see him again for the rest of the show. Samson picks up the guitar and looks at it. Doesn't hit Truth with it. Like, how much better would this segment have been if he just clobbered him with the guitar? I mean, just hit him across the back with the guitar. I'm not saying that we need to do a headshot here. But for fuck's sakes, why not? Why not add a little something interesting to this segment? If this is the only time we're going to see him throughout the show, at least let him go out with a literal bang. I mean, why not? But, they're not invested in doing interesting things on this show. They're just concerned about getting towards SummerSlam. I mean, it's always this rush mentality. We're just going to do what we have to do to get to point A to point B. And we're not really going to, intrigue you in any way. We're not really going to do anything to, tickle your fucking fancy. We're just going to fucking put the show out there, get to SummerSlam, and not do anything else, really. I mean, that right there, that is laziness to the umpteenth power. You're not even going to introduce any interesting elements to the show. And what is this? Samson's involved in a feud with R-Truth. It's like he's being thrown around all over the place. They don't have a direction for this guy. He's one of the most interesting guys on the show with an actual gimmick, with an actual character. But he's probably not even going to be on SummerSlam. If any, I watch him not even be on the pre-show, for fuck's sakes. We had a segment with Big Show and Big Cass. They tried to break Cass's hand, and this was another segment that went on for way too long. They could have just closed the cage door, the shark cage door on Big Show's hand, because that's the cage that Enzo's going to be on. They disposed of Enzo. They got the best things since sliced bread involved. But like, where the fuck did these guys even come from? I thought they were involved in a feud with the Hardys, but apparently now they're in this feud. Everything is all over the place. I don't even know. But my point here is they could have just fucking slammed the door on Show's hand and just ended it right there. Why did they need to constantly keep kicking his hand and stuff like that? Like, get in and get out. It's enough. Like, this feud has been littered with these segments where they just go on and on and on. Just on and on and on. It's the beat down is too prolonged. If you want to do one prolonged beat down, okay, but not every single fucking week. Jesus Christ already. I mean, it's ridiculous. The way this company repeats themselves. And they do everything so by the numbers, not even doing anything interesting at all. They don't even try to like lock anybody in the cage. Maybe, they could lock Big Show in. Just do something interesting. Okay, they smashed his hand with it, but then, like I said, they stand around for 5 minutes just kicking his hand. Who the fuck cares after a while? Tozawa beat Neville. And if anybody knows, I hate the fucking Cruiserweight division, but I love Neville. And I think this guy is capable of so much more. But what happens? They take the belt off of Neville. Ah! 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 Enough! They actually gave, a couple of people are eyeing in the crowd. Let's put the Cruiserweight belt on Tozawa. What? The only guy in this fucking division with any charisma, with any look, with anything worth the fucking damn, and you actually take the belt off him? What drugs are they on? Now, Wade Keller is saying, maybe they want to fire him up before SummerSlam. Why? Who even wants to see this match? First of all, the thing is, I don't care about a fake fucking belt. The belt is stupid anyway. It's a dumb fucking belt for a division that's already was broken before it even began. But you're actually making this guy lose to Tozawa of all people? And people are telling me, he's a great wrestler. Oh, is he? Well, I explain this time and time again every week. When you have marketable stars, you don't beat them like they're horse shit, like Neville. You're actually going to have this guy, Tozawa, beat Neville. And I'm supposed to sit there and accept it like, this is something that should just happen because Tozawa is a superior wrestler. And is that really the case? So let's forget about character, looks, and all that, and what goes into marketing a big star. Let's forget about that for a minute. Let's pretend like the only thing that matters in American wrestling is the simple fact that you know how to wrestle a great match. It doesn't matter if you have, the charisma of Toe Jam. All that matters is that you know how to get there and wrestle. Well, Neville knows how to wrestle pretty fucking well. Have you guys seen the fucking Red Arrow? If we're talking about, what you guys care about, all the acrobatics and high spots, can't Neville deliver that? But since he's been champion, he's also proved that he could wrestle a pretty good mat game as well. I mean, not only can this guy wrestle any fucking style, not only can he brawl and do mat wrestling, he even gave one of his finishers the Rings of Saturn. And now you want to, sit there and say that Tozawa is, a great wrestler? Who is going to justify this belt switch? I mean, the fact that they made this guy the king of the cruiserweights, and Tozawa is the guy who dethrones the king. Even if he gets the belt back at the pay-per-view, it's still gonna be like we beat him. So okay, did they really need to do this to please a couple of people in the crowd, making some stupid baby dinosaur sounds? Ah, ah, ah. I mean, it sounds like I don't even know. Like something's coming out of their throat. What the fuck is he even doing in there? I'm telling you, these Japanese wrestlers are fucking mental. Shouldn't even be in a wrestling ring, for fuck's sakes. Should be in a mental institution. Bray Wyatt defeated Finn Balor. They had a little backstage brawl. Kurt Angle made the match for tonight. Oh, the match is at the pay-per-view, but let's have it tonight anyway. And then they wonder why nobody's interested. Well, I'm not going to care about fuckboy Balor one way or the other. As far as I'm concerned, Bray Wyatt is outclassing this guy. So Bray Wyatt beats him, Sister Abigail, then pours something over him that, I guess it was supposed to be blood. It was a nice little touch, I suppose. Sort of like a bit of a homage to Gangrel, I suppose, and his bloodbaths, from the Brood days. But then you see that Balor goes in the back. He has he has a meeting with Kurt Angle. He comes out and he says, "You're gonna see I have my demons." So I was right. Balor is going to be the demon. And I said weeks ago when Balor was doing, this gimmick right here, you should have just had him turn around and had the paint on him. For fuck's sakes. They don't have to maybe paint his whole body, but at least paint his fucking face or some shit. So then he's going to go, okay, we all know how it's going to go. But, Bray Wyatt can beat, Bray Wyatt can beat the normal Finn Balor, but he can't beat Demon Balor. So, he's going to beat him with the stupid double fucking stomp. He's going to beat him with, hopping around like a big baby like he always fucking does. He's going to beat him, and then he's going to go right back to being the leather jacket homo that he is. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter there. Mickie James defeated Emma. They had some little, tiff backstage, and here's the match. And what the fuck happened at the end? It was like an AJ Owens moment with not an in-ring botch, but a commentary botch that just confused the fuck out of me. Mickie James hits the Mick kick, goes in for the pin, wins the match. But at the end, Michael Cole's making oh, did she kick out? Almost like no one told him that Mickie James is supposed to win the match. No cheers from the crowd, and that's not Mickie James's fault. You know whose fault that is? Fucking creative. This girl, basically transformed your women's division and made it interesting again back in 2006. And I said it was one of the most interesting feuds that they had in all of the Divas division. No, it wasn't Charlotte and Sasha. No, it wasn't any of them stupid little fucking feuds. Um, that have happened in the past couple of years. The most interesting feud that they had was Trish and Mickie. It made like the most sense. Trish Stratus was one of the most popular women's wrestlers, so it would only make sense that she would have a stalker, and it was kind of like Tori, not Wilson, but Tori and Sable from back in the day. But they changed it a bit and made it more interesting. Fast forward years later, 10, 11 years later, and Mickie James, not a single fucking person in that fucking Mark-filled crowd even cares. And that is because creative has done nothing with her. They've made her come back, and all she is like, she's just a normal women's wrestler. Because that's what women's wrestling is. It's all about being serious and having 5-star matches. And then a bunch of cucks could sit around on the internet and talk about how much the women wrestle better than the guys. Huh? Yeah, that's what it's about, These submissive men sitting around, they're trying to impress a girl because they're hoping one day somebody will come upon their post or their vlog or their blog or their video on YouTube, and the girl is going to say, "Oh wow, you care so much about women. Let me fuck you." I mean, that's what these guys won't admit, but that's exactly what they're gunning for. That's exactly what they want. It's pretty fucking pathetic anyway, but the Hardys and Jason Jordan defeated The Miz and The Miz Taraj. And, nothing interesting here. No interaction with Jordan or Angle. The Hardys aren't doing anything interesting besides some stupid promo backstage. Matt said delightful. Okay, he's still not broken Matt. I mean, where are we going with any of these characters? Are we doing anything with any of these guys at all? Is anybody fucking doing anything? Like I said, you got the Hardys now. You've had them for a good 6 months, 5 months, whatever it's been. And you've done absolutely fucking nothing with these guys. I mean, they feel like a normal tag team. You put the straps on them, you take them off, and we're back to square one. I mean, at what point do you have this hot commodity? They were so over in TNA for such a small company. You bring them to WWE and somehow make them feel even smaller, even less important. Then you had the main event segment. You had a big brawl. Paul Heyman does the same thing, begging the crowd to order the network to see what happens with Lesnar. You had a big pull-apart brawl between, a part of me really just wants to see Brock and Strowman, the pull-apart brawls between those two. That would just be an interesting match. Just the visual of seeing Brock lift up Strowman, or, Strowman just treating Brock like a small child. I hope that during this Fatal 4-Way they go with some of those elements, because this would just be an interesting match, up to see. I want to see a one-on-one, but I don't see how that will fit into their schedule unless they do it at Survivor Series. Let Brock keep the belt, then go to Survivor Series and have this match. That would be a good match for the sake of, not a 5-star match, but entertainment sakes. You'd have some big moments and some big visuals. So this was a pretty lousy fucking show. They did a very bad job of, and what is Jason Jordan? I guess Jason Jordan will face The Miz. They did nothing to make it interesting. This is a big storyline. You just said that this guy is the son of Kurt Angle, and then you're just not going to do anything with the guy. I mean, what is that? You just introduced a story element, and there's no story behind it. It's like, okay, guys, he's Kurt Angle's son. Now care about him. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. You gotta keep hammering these things. You have to keep introducing new elements. Tell your story. Stories have chapters. It's not just one chapter, one page, and then the book is done. No, you have to keep building on it. You have to tell people why they should keep caring about this guy. But they're too stupid to fucking figure it out, I guess. I don't know, guys. Anyway, the SummerSlam looks pretty lousy. I'm only looking forward to one match. But whatever. Alright, guys. There's your review. Until next time, motherfuckers. This is your YWC champ. Signing out.